I'm David Ferguson. I'm the Minister of the Gregory congregations, which are the congregations in Clermont-Capella and Moranbah in the Bowen Basin mining region in Central Queensland. Well, I started out as an academic researcher in chemistry and I actually studied coal chemistry. Ironically, considering some of the issues now, it was actually in coal seam gas development when it was more of a social justice positive issue. Well, in the 80s and 90s there was explosions in coal mines, and in other countries there still are. So particularly if you talk to the people at Mara, they have a very positive view of coal seam gas because they find it great that the gas that killed their kids is actually being used to make power. The other thing is that if the coal's mined, it's a lower environmental impact if you get the methane out and burn it first. Methane's far worse a gas for the environment than carbon dioxide. But at the stage, we never really imagined that they'd use it where they weren't going to mine. So that's where the money aspect came in, and we never would have imagined the development that's happening now. I've sat on the farm porch and listened to the farmer say about a farm they spent 20 years developing into an organic property being sold off for a coal mine. But at the other stage, I have several miners in my congregations and miners' wives. So you actually get to hear several sides of the story. It's becoming more and more my belief that the church has a distinctive role in these communities. I'll tell a story. I was shopping one day earlier this year in the shop and I saw a man I'd never met before and asked him what he did, and he was a contract musterer. And because of the rains, in 3 months he'd had 2 weeks' work. So I was pretty desperate, and I was just listening to his story and drawing more out of him, and then he just turns to me and went, "You miners wouldn't know what that's all about." And he proceeded to abuse me on the assumption, because of my physique, that I was a miner. Can you imagine living in one of those communities? Is that a place where you want to settle down? And yet these communities, because so many people go through them, are dependent on drawing people in. Institutions like the church exist on social capital, on community goodwill. If that fades away, we're in real trouble. And I believe if that fades away, the communities are in real trouble. So we have a real role to play in trying to bring the different areas of the community together. And that's part of our central core values as a church anyway. And some congregations are really already doing a good job of that. Country towns run on the football club, the tennis club where I play. That's where the people from different areas get together. And I think the church has to be another one of those gathering places where we reflect the fact we're all loved by Christ, that we're all one family, and we all need to work for each other's benefit. Well, I'll highlight the efforts of Gregory congregations. That's a real story of hope. It's also a story of sadness that they haven't been able to have sufficient resources to stand separately. But the fact that they're reaching out in love to each other, the fact that despite they're from communities that don't always get along as communities, that don't always trust each other, the fact that they're actively caring for each other and looking after each other's interests ahead of their own is a real sign of what the gospel's about, and that gives me real hope for the future. I'd like to thank the Synod for the opportunity to share what's going on in the mining communities. I'd like to thank the people who've shared their life with me.